The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio. Keep your mission on your mind and your mind on your mission. This is Mission Minded with Michael Coleman.
Welcome back to the Mission Minded. Keep your mind, your mission in your mind. He is Michael Coleman, the CEO of the Heart of Alabama Food Bank. We have been talking already for an hour before we started the show, so we are lubed up and ready to go, man. We're going to get into some emails today, info@tonykurreradio.net. Our brand new email, though, is going to be missionmindedradio.com. That's going to be our website. It's already up, missionmindedradio.com, missionmindedradio.com, if you want to leave us some emails, and we're going to be moving our show. We're still going to be doing it here on Tony Kurre Radio, but we're going to be moving it to another stick. We got picked up by 101.1 The Truth. Anyone that listens to the show knows how well steeped Mike and I are in our Lord and Savior, and we're going to get on it. We're not only going to talk about Jesus and God, but we're also going to talk about business through the lens of Jesus Christ. It's going to be great. That's going to be starting a little bit later on in March here in about a couple of weeks, so we're looking forward to that. So make sure you check out 101.1 The Truth, which, of course, is part of the Crawford family. Got some emails. You want to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Got Al in Birmingham. Al's like, I know the Mike is the businessman here. Tony doesn't know squat, and with a smiley face. He said, please explain to me why these AI digital buildings, there's such a hubbub about the AI digital buildings, why they must be so enormous. Why are they so big? And what kind of tax breaks they're getting to have these things? Do they employ people? Do they run by themselves? And also, will it affect my power bill? Wow, a lot to unload there. Let's start right now. Why do these buildings need to be so enormous for AI generated content?
Well, when you think about it, in AI capabilities, and it's just growing exponentially. Not only does Google's got its own AI Gemini, Tesla's got Grok, just on ChatGPT, on and on and on. And then inside of programming, like everything now, like grant management systems, everything's got its own AI component to it because of what the capabilities are and how it just vastly increases productivity. Well, if you think about this and people tapping into these sources, this is not like business where you get real busy during the day for a couple hours and then it shuts down. This is something that's generating around the clock. Okay. And it just requires so much storage and so much processor capability and all of that to bring what it does.
Real quick, pardon me, because I will forget this.
Yeah.
When my computer gets full, I throw stuff away. I go into the trash pile, right? Like we do it with our phone. Do we not? We don't do that with the internet, or these AI systems don't do that with all this stuff they're generating. They can't cut because I guess as new information comes in, it just continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and the thing about it's interesting about AI. So I pay for ChatGPT. I pay $20 a month. And the reason is because when you get like a pro level version, you can do things that you can't do with the free version. And one of those is, for instance, I can create projects. Mm-hmm. So right now you can go into chat or any AI and just ask it a question, have it review an email, whatever. But I can go in right now. I've probably got 20 different projects that have happened. And so when I have an email, when I'm writing something or I have a question, I can connect it to the project and grow it. But the beauty of that is AI under your account begins to learn you. So for instance, I don't have to explain if I want to do something food bank related, I don't have to. I'll give you a good example. 40th anniversary. This is our 40th anniversary. We're started. We got a new logo. We got a new, and so I asked ChatGPT about, the best ways to promote this throughout the year. And it gave me wonderful suggestions. Well, when I was asking it a question about something else, it was about a proposal. And I was just thinking, it was helping me think through a situation. And it said, hey, do you want me to integrate your 40th anniversary logo into the proposal? And I was like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. And then sometimes it'll say, I've got employees' names, I've got situations, and it'll say, don't forget, Jim has this,
That's amazing.
So it really learns who you are. And so as a matter of fact, there was this recent thing going around Facebook where it said ChatGPT, create a caricature of who you think I am. And it nails a lot of people. And like it has a cartoon picture. But if you ask it about Bible stuff, it would have some sort of spiritual aspect. And it just takes all that information and creates a picture. It's very interesting. Anyway, having said all that, like right now, Montgomery is Meta or Facebook is building a data center. They're almost done with it, and it is huge. Now, it was an open pasture out there in our business area. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's huge. But to answer the question, or an aspect of the question about does it create a lot of? It does not typically. It creates a lot of construction jobs, but those are temporary.
Once it's built, though, it's not. There's nothing wrong
because it's so automated. It doesn't mean they don't have some.
Yeah.
I think it's going to start off less than 100 jobs, but there'll be good paying jobs. But the bigger question is what was said at the end. Is this going to affect my power bill? Now,
real quick, back up. Are we going to be building these once we build these? Say we need 50 of them. We build 50. Yeah. Are we done, or are we going to continually have to build these buildings?
They're coming out all the time. You got to remember, like this space, it's doing they'll maximize that space's capability. Well, as they come out with new technology, where just like remember the old first desktops that came out, they were huge, and now you get a new desktop and you can just hold it in the palm of your hand almost, because. So as we continue to improve with technology in space, they'll take that same thing and replace it with the latest and be able to get more capacity and more capabilities. But I will tell you, this is definitely here to stay. I'm telling you, and the truth of the matter is, I'm one that's always way more optimistic than pessimistic. And I've listened to so many negative things about AI, but just seeing in my own life the productivity. And I've got people who use AI for a personal counselor, and the advice that's coming out of there. And it's like having a personal licensed counselor at your fingertips. Like I'm struggling with my relationship with my daughter. Here's what's happening. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it gives you both perspectives that comes out. It doesn't just side with you. Oh. And so again, it's just unlimited ways that you can use it. However, given the fact that for all these AI, for it to continue to grow, it does require power. Well, if you go back before the AI boom, they said 80% of America's infrastructure, electrical grid and infrastructure needed improvement. So the question is, they're estimating that by 2030, just 4 more years, that our generation will be either doubled or even possibly tripled. And you're like, okay, how do you triple that?
The actual what are you doing?
Energy this required.
The wattage. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
So you're like, but
that's crazy.
So again, there's pluses and minuses. Number one, you have, I think it's Microsoft. Don't hold me to this, but I think it's Microsoft that says we're going to build a mini nuclear plant to support the data. And people go, well, can you do that? Well, yeah, it's the equivalent of a nuclear sub. If you think about it, we have nuclear subs that go out, and in theory, they could support themselves energy wise forever.
By the way, there's like 100 nuclear plants. By the way, in the United States, they're everywhere. We just don't see them. Yeah, they're out there.
So you could do it on a small level, and that nuclear produce very clean energy, very safe energy. So you're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff. I'll tell you right now, we have here in Montgomery as well, we have Hyundai Power, and they generate the big transformers. Well, they're adding another plant, because right now, if you order a large transformer, like the city of the size of Montgomery, 200,000 people, these are so big. We're talking about the city may have 4 of these. Wow. I mean, they're several $1 million each. But when you order one, it's a 3-year wait to get one. So they're building another plant to do. It just lets you know kind of the grid system needs to be upgraded. It's very costly. But one of the interesting things is this is what, like the Southern Company, which handles, all the most electricity across the Southeast. They're investing. They're investing in infrastructure because they see they've just got to have this capacity. So they're reprioritizing some of their investments, like for that improvement, and that's a positive thing because it's one of those things that typically people don't want to invest in. Companies don't want to invest in as long as they can put it off.
Sure.
But so then that goes back a little. Okay, if Alabama Power is going to be, investing in their infrastructure to accommodate AI, who's going to pay for that? And so it all comes down to, just like he said, are my personal bills going to go up? And that's where the challenge is. Right now, when you look at, renewable energy is not a serious part of the solution. I'm not saying that from a.
It's not, or doesn't need to be. It's not, or doesn't. Well,
first of all, it can't.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example right now. There's pictures so Germany was probably, and this is not. Please, I don't want the audience to take this as a political statement. It's not. It's not about whether there's global warming or anything. Mm-hmm. Germany shut down almost all of its coal plants and just went headlong into renewable energy. Well, this winter, what they found out was in snowstorms that the sun doesn't shine and that the windmills don't turn because they freeze up or everything. There's no wind. It's just snow dropping. So then what happened was now they're having to start back up the coal plants because they don't have a choice. It's spending billions restarting these plants, as well as they pay more for electricity than any other European country. And it's all because it was self-inflicted about the goal to be net zero. So we don't necessarily have that kind of challenge. But right now, so when you look at renewable energy, I'm not anti-renewable energy. I just said you can't. That's not going to be the solution.
Donald Trump.
The solution is going to be nuclear, and the solution is going to be natural gas. 42% of our power comes from natural gas. Mm-hmm. We have an abundance.
You know what? And I'm okay with natural gas, but please, Alagasco, whoever sent Aspire, whatever. Keep your rates the same. That drives me crazy. That because my bill's like $12 when I'm not using my gas, and then when I am using my gas, they pop the. I know what's going on here. It's a gouge situation. Natural gas prices always go up when we need it, and I understand that. I understand that's how America works. But it's amazing that we've got these. I got this thing where it's it tempers out every single month, so it doesn't go high. The reason they do that is one month is $12, the next month is $412. By the way, just generated some AI here. Why do these AI digital buildings have to be so large? They must house an enormous density of specialized power-hungry hardware required to train and run modern AI models. These AI factories are expanding from 30-megawatt facilities to over 200-megawatt, multi-gigawatt campuses that span millions of square feet, driven by the need for immense computer and computational power and cooling infrastructure. So there you have it. If you wanted to go to your AI, like you mentioned, and that just got generated. So it's a little scary from me standpoint because I know like people in Texas. We've only known this because of the snowstorms and the immense heat they get where it's like over 120 degrees for like 75 days in a row. And they're telling us, and I can remember one time in my life, we may have actually had it here where they were asking us to crank down the AC because they were afraid we were going to have a blackout. And I thought, wow, that's kind of crazy. That happens a lot in big cities. And so if you're telling me that we're building these infrastructures that are going to be sucking even more power because AI never takes a day off, that would scare me a little bit. If I'm already living in an area, go ahead.
Yeah, well, they can't pull it from what's currently. They're going to have more generation.
Yeah,
and then more updated. I will tell you this, and I'm certainly no expert on this, but I know, for instance, sometimes when you're in your home, and the electricity goes off, and then maybe within 3 seconds it pops back on. Well, I was told by somebody in Alabama Power that what happens is, and this is where technology really helps. They can monitor and say, okay, this grid is overly taxed. This grid is underutilized. And so sometimes if this goes out, they can route a different pathway of electricity that's being underutilized into you. So when it goes out, and that could be sometimes like a storm, if it knocks down a power line over there, they can chop that off and then route power in through a different way.
Oh, there you go.
And so I wonder, so part of that's going to be about power management and all that. But the bottom line is, you're going to have to generation costs money. And so, you've got to have the framework. I think ultimately people, they will invest the billions and billions and billions of dollars to upgrade our areas, generate the new. And I think it's going to be ultimately a win for our society. But I certainly get the fear of, hey, are they going to do this on my back?
Yeah. Something very topical here from Tammy in Tuscaloosa. She wants to get Michael and Tony's thoughts on the Prince Andrew situation and what's the first thing you do when you own a company for damage control. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh. That's pretty good. First time that anyone in the family's been arrested in over 400 years. I can't remember the prince or whatever his name was, 1647 or something like that. Obviously not a good look, particularly since that, of course, we're talking about the brother of the king. I do like the fact that he said, listen, the law is going to have to take its look. I thought he handled it extremely well, but certainly not a good look for the family. I will say this Epstein thing. We've already been because my son was like, why are we still talking about this? Didn't we go to trial? Didn't he commit suicide? Isn't she still in prison? I'm like, yeah. But boy, I tell you what, you don't want to leave a paper trail. And we're going back 10, 15, 20 years. Obviously, there's some pictures out there. And certainly with the release of all these redacted, classified articles and stuff, it has just been, and you can go online and watch it. You can pull up AI and say, give me the 3 million pages. It'll take you till a week from Friday to see the first 100,000 pages. But let's start business wise. Something major has just happened in your business. What's the first step in damage control?
Well, it's, if you have like a crisis management plan, it's usually where you forbid anybody to talk about it, but except one. But you want one voice coming out. I'm reminded of Nick Saban. He didn't let one time a year he let his assistant coaches talk. The rest of the time, everybody heard one voice because well, let me tell you what I heard. And you have people that aren't disciplined. They say things they shouldn't. The other thing is, though, I have found. As painful as it is, and the temptation is if something is bad that's happening that's going to reflect poorly on you, people then, and this is a good example for the royal family. He came out, he was exposed. There was rumors a long time, and the royal family didn't come out and address it in a press conference. They were hoping it went away, tried to squash it and everything else. But then when the pictures came out and then he was named specifically by some of those that were abused.
Well, and he actually paid a girl off.
I mean, and then it came out later. No doubt. So they tried to cover up. And now the king is like, okay, well, given what we know, I'm not going to defend him. I'm not going to ruin the royal. We want to show that we're on the side of the victim and on and on. And that's been easier for him to do because I think if he thought he could have kept it down, he would have. And that's really the decision. So for me personally, what I look at is this something that's affecting the public? Is this could endanger the public? Is it something to where it could ultimately come back on us in a bad way? Something illegal was done? So I'll give you a quick example. I've talked about this before. We had some when I came in 22, we uncovered there were some unscrupulous action by a couple of employees that were stealing food. And right away, I reported it to my board, and we worked through it. But I also felt like it was important to reveal it to Feeding America and anybody else to say, hey, look, we just discovered it. I've terminated those employees. We need to let everybody know and say, look, we're just discovering it. Here's everything I know about it. We want to be honest brokers in that to build credibility, even if it brings up questions about why wasn't this found out years ago and all that. That's not really my purpose. My purpose is to say, even if there's a temporary hit, it is not going to be near as bad as if, let's say, some food, and this did not happen, but let's just say there was some spoiled food went out or something and somebody got sick, and you try to protect that kind of stuff, and then you get this pecking away. No, we know something happened, like you did with Epstein. People just keep asking, and then they get some more information, and they keep asking, and then finally you have no choice because it's all revealed. Then you have to come clean with it. That's the temptation, is to roll the dice. But I think it's better to be an honest broker. Now, the question also is, to be an honest broker, do you have to reveal every bit of detail? And the answer to that question is no. I didn't have a press conference. Obviously, I didn't put this out in the public eye because I didn't want to do anything to hurt the food bank.
No.
Because the food bank itself was still doing the right thing. It was just some unscrupulous employees that took advantage of it. So if I were to report that, I would report something like, it's come to our attention that this happened. We understand it's happened. Those employees have been terminated immediately. And we are moving forward, ensuring that we're double checking safety considerations and all that kind of stuff. So you put it out there. They don't need to know how they were stealing. They don't need to know what process. They don't need to know how long it happened, on and on and on. How much was the food valued at? They don't need to know all those details. That's salaciousness. You don't have to get into. You just say, this happened. This is what we've done about it. We've dealt with it in a straightforward manner. We're being transparent, and we put in safeguards to ensure it doesn't happen again. And then while there may be some people who you upset, there may be some potential donors or something that say, well, I don't like that. Most people understand things happen and you can't deal with them until you find them out. They just want to know, what are you doing to make sure it's not going to happen again?
Exactly.
So it's this crisis management team and policies that help.
My favorite line is, it only happened once. That's what if anyone ever says it only happened once, you can almost guarantee that it didn't only happen once, because they wouldn't have brought it up. It wouldn't have brought it up. It only happened once. If your husband comes home and he's been cheating, and he said it only happened once, I can promise you it's not a once. Not to throw anybody under the bus, but it's just not. And I will say this: there's one. We've got this news cycle now with the internet, and it's coming at us so fast, and there's so many things changing. We are a redemptive society because we're all sinners. We're all losers. Yeah. We all make mistakes. We've all done things we know it's the wrong thing to do, and we still do it for a brief 15 seconds of pleasure, but we're willing to throw away a lifetime of happiness. We're all guilty in this. Now, is it fair to go back 20, 30 years? I don't know. We change. We're different. I'm certainly a lot different than I was back in my 20s. I can tell you that right now. I mean, we're going to be doing a Christian show on a radio station, for God's sakes. But it's interesting. It's our human nature to do whatever it is to not get in trouble. I've worked in sports my entire life. We can go Jerry Sandusky. We can go Duke. We can go the lacrosse team. We can go over and over and over. And we always want to try to hide it. We want to and that's what we try to do. But ultimately, you're the one that's got to live with it.
That's right.
And so there's in the Bible, you could probably tell me which chapter and book it is, about God saying, listen, judge not. You don't need to judge. You'll have your judgment day. There is going to be a day where you will stand before me, and I want to have some questions for you. That's going to be unlike any interview we've probably ever been through. And we're going to have to clean some things up.
Well, I do think it's important to understand that sometimes accountability happens. So it was accountability for those employees. Well, let's say that I was the CEO and I knew that I was going to, and I'll give you an example. I was working at a nonprofit. It was one of my learning points, but I had given employees credit cards with certain limits to go out and get what they needed. And I gave one to my bookkeeper. My bookkeeper was the one that was checking everybody else's, and then I'm supposed to be checking the bookkeepers.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't checking the bookkeepers. It was less than $100 a month for 6 months or whatever. So we're not talking tons of money, but the bottom line is she was kind of using it as a little slush fund. And I had to make a decision. I terminated her, yes, but then I had to go report myself to the board. And I said, hey, I'm just going to tell you that, number one, it was poor judgment of me to trust her and give her a card, because she's supposed to be checking everybody else's. Mm-hmm. And she was doing that flawlessly. She was making sure everybody turned in the receipts. And I said, and it was my responsibility to check hers, and I did not do it. And therefore, this is my fault. Now, they could have fired me for that, because, I failed to do my job. And so and some of them let me know that, they were disappointed, they were upset. And I told them,
yeah, I
totally get it. I failed. But all I could do is say, I failed. Here's what I learned. Bookkeepers, whoever's doing the checking financially, mm-hmm. who's moving money, shouldn't have the power to go get more, like with a credit card. And I needed to take those responsibilities more seriously than I had. So all I could do was do that mea culpa, but I took ownership, and I said, whatever the hit's coming, whether if I'm terminated, that's just the hit I've got to take.
Yeah.
But thankfully that didn't happen, but it was a lesson that I learned. And I still think that's the best way, because otherwise, if they know you knew it and you didn't report it, when the accountability does come, you've lost all credibility. Yeah,
that's true. You're better off to take the hit. And we were talking about the news cycle. I tell my son this all the time, who's a junior and just a sweetheart of a kid. He's just so good. I try to find things wrong with that kid. I can't find anything. It's just amazing how good this kid is. But I'm like, man, when you screw up, just admit it and move on. And, that's right. And lying can also be holding information in, what I've done and what I have failed to do. If you're not telling the whole story, it's considered a lie. Yeah. Well, they never asked me. Well, it doesn't matter. If you did something wrong and you're not telling the whole story, you're lying to them, even though you didn't move your lips. So get it out there, take the hits, be done with it. And then hopefully you'll but we are incredibly redemptive, and we love comeback stories, and we love when people admit that they were wrong and they come back and do their thing. Well,
I got to tell you this quick story. Hopefully the audience will appreciate it. It's a goof on myself. I went to officer candidate school, and we were on our final testing. And so we had been rucking for 4 or 5 miles, had the backpack on, and we finally get to our place, and we dig out what's just a very shallow place and get into a 2-man fighting position. And so one person kind of slips back a little bit and, cleans his weapon, eats, whatever, and then you swap out. So I'm sitting there, I'm ADHD, I'm bored to death. And I'm flicking the safety, and it's like flick and then click, click, click. And I'm flicking it back and forth. Next thing I know, I went boom. And my weapon, now it had blanks in it, mm-hmm. but I had a fighting position on each side of me. So here comes the instructors.
Oh God.
And I hear them to my left. They said, did y'all hear a round go off? And they said, yeah, it came from over there. They're pointing to their right.
Yeah.
So she skips me, goes to the next fighting position, and he goes, that came from the left. So sends her back right away. So then she calls out on a radio. We had an outpost, and it was about 100 yards out. And they said, did y'all hear a shot fire? I said, yeah, sounded like it came from the camp. So they just triangulated on me. And I said, look, I ain't going to volunteer any information, but I'm not going to lie about it. And she said, and so she turned to me, she said, did you do this? And I said, yes, ma'am. So they made us all get up, pack up, walk an extra mile around, and come back into the same because I compromised the site.
Yeah.
Well, then my buddies, of course, I'm on KP that night. My buddies are coming, hey, Trigger. I mean, they came up with every mocking nickname in the world.
That's funny.
But it was a moment of, that accidental discharge of your weapon is a truly, it's unforgivable. Yeah. If that would have been a real round and I would have shot somebody, I mean, it was just so stupid. And again, just losing sight of the priority, and it gets away from you. So I'm sitting there like a complete jackass, and all I could do is say,
yeah,
you're right.
You're right. I
did it. I'm wrong. And whatever consequences you give me, I just have to deal with it. But if I would have lied about it and they'd have done an investigation and found out, I would have been kicked out. It would have ruined my entire military career.
Yeah.
So by owning it, yes, I got mocked, ridiculed, harshly. And everybody was pissed off that they had to get back up, put the rush back on, walk another mile, circle back around.
So they deserve to call you whatever they wanted to.
Yeah, that's right. So
that's a great story.
It was a brutal time, yeah.
Mission Minded, coming to a radio station near you soon, 101.1 The Truth. It is a Crawford station. We're super excited. 5 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday nights. We're going to be coming in March, so make sure you check that out and mark it on your calendars. And, of course, you can always hear Mission Minded, Bite, which is just specific to the Heart of Alabama Food Bank, coming up here in just a few minutes right here. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, my friend.
You too, buddy.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.